Okay, so let's now come to the topic of the day. Don't waste your precious time doing this. So, what is that practice that we don't want you to do? Is that whether to sip now or wait for more correction? This is the most common query that at least we get. Whether we should collect all the sips, wait for more correction, invest as lump sum, should we stop our sip? Should we try to time the market? Should we do first week of the month? Should we do last week of the month or middle of the month? All these queries continue to happen, and a never ending sort of regret is that I chose the first week as my sip, but every time I do a sip, then the next couple of weeks the market falls and I feel like I should have waited. uh, and my timing is going all wrong. So that is the sort of usual lament that you will have in a down market. For instance, if you invested beginning of October, you saw October going down. Then you invested beginning of November, you saw November go down and then come back up. December, you felt good after your investment, but after some time it went down. January again, it felt good up for a few days and then it went down. In February again, the same thing. So essentially, when markets are going down, um, net wherever you will invest, you will find yourself lower later on if that market trend is continuing down, but you can't predict that. You don't know whether this leg could have sort of restarted the up move, or it will not start for the next 2 years. So this entire trying to perfect time the entry, it leads to a lot of regret. I wasted my money first week of the month, I should have done last week of the month. So that kind of a thing, and the constant effort is basically to how can I get the best bang for my buck, uh, and get the best performance by being able to strike at right at the bottom. Now, practically and statistically, that is not possible. So let's understand that what we're trying to achieve here is the impossible. So one can keep trying to do that, but really it is not going to make that kind of a outcome happen. So let's do some data analysis. Let's say you were extremely extraordinary person and you were able to forecast in any month which day is going to be the lowest, which day is going to be the highest, and so on and so forth. And let's see what you would have done if you had chosen those points for your sips. So the data that we'll study is three entry points. One is the start of the month. That is a no nonsense sip where you're saying at the beginning of the month I get my salary, I'm doing my sip and I'm not going to bother about it. The second part is extraordinary bottom predicting. So I have some predictive capability that I know where the bottom of February 2025 is going to be on 1st February. So I'm going to wait for that day and sip on that day at the bottom. uh, the reverse of that is that I have a completely poor way of predicting the entry point, and I always find the highest point of the month to enter, and that is the third case. So one case is like I don't care, I am going to invest at the beginning. One case is I am a you know a, a person who has extraordinary capability to find the bottom, and third is I'm really bad luck is striking me again and again, and I'll always invest at high. Let's see where these three cases take us. So um, just to sort of also make you aware about how these candles will look like on a open high low close basis. So on a Japanese candlestick, when you see any chart, and in general also, this information is good for you, that in a candle which is green, it means that from the open the close is higher. This is the close, this is the open, and there was some low price during that period and there was a high price during that period. The reverse is true for a bearish candle, where the top of the candle, the box top is the open price. This is the close price. This is the low price as in the previous case, and this is the high price. This is how to read bullish and bearish candles. Now let's see what happens when we see the whenever you look at a candlestick chart, you'll be able to see the month end, the month open, high low close using that, but we are not getting into that at all. So let's do a quick data crunch of monthly sip of 10,000 rupees in the last 20 years. uh, and say 2005 to 2025, the first guy who was able to sip at monthly opens, he contributed 24 lakhs in this entire period, uh, in 20 years. His final capital is 86 lakhs. This is on basically Nifty. So he made 11.4% XRR in that period, and he, did not bother date, when should I invest, so on and so forth. The guy who was extremely unlucky always invested at the top of the month. He also invested 24 lakhs. His final capital is 82 lakhs. He is the worst performer, worst timer of the market. He also managed 11.04% XIRR. Not too bad actually, even with the worst luck, and with the premonition of, you know being the catching the high of the month each time for the last 20 years, in 240 months. This is the third guy who hypothetically or theoretically is able to predict the low of the month. He invests at that low, and he also invests 24 lakhs. He is able to get 91 lakhs out of it at 11.88%. If you see the three cases, the guy who did absolutely no analysis, no regret, no premonition, nothing, just open every month 10,000 rupees, and I'm living my life for the rest of my month. I don't bother. He was able to make 11.4%. The guy who's extremely unlucky also made a very decent 11.04%, not too far from 11.4. And the guy who theoretically on paper is able to do this, although in real life you will never be able to do this, 11.88%. So not so far ahead as well that, it's making a difference of life or death in terms of the XRR. So is it really worth the effort to put so much of your, mind space into when you are going to do the SIP, how you're going to do the SIP, are you going to combine the SIPs, are you going to time the SIP, if the market is falling, should I wait, if it starts to rise, what will I do? So all that basically is coming to a knot in terms of the data, that it is really not worth your while to do all this kind of a discretionary, tweaking of your methods. Just keep it simple, leave the rest to the market. We have a long runway. If you don't have a long runway, then probably the markets is not the place for you to be at. Let's say you have something coming up in a year or two, and you've been invested, then you should be looking for withdrawing from the market gradually in the last 2 years, 3 years also. If you are going to wait for the day when you need the money and then withdraw it from the market, it may not be the most perfect market point for you to do that at that point. So again, when you have goal based kind of longevity of your portfolio, look forward for longer time frames to at least give you that chance that during that time frame, if I need something in 5 years, 7 years, then maybe after 3 years, if I'm able to get a chance where, my stocks have done really well, my SIPs have done really well, I can take something off there and put it into more lesser volatile, or do some asset allocation at that point, so on and so forth. But this picking of day of the week, month, or frequency, should I club the SIPs, all that really makes no difference in real life. And just every month or every week, whenever you rebalance, do that rebalance, and then do your SIP the next day perhaps, and that should be the end of it all. No, there is no point of worrying about that, timing of the SIP, as far as my study is concerned. Do let me know your experience. I mean, a lot of you have been doing SIP, so you would have a lot of experience in your, what have you observed in terms of trying to time this, and do share it on the YouTube comments, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Do like and share these videos if you like them, and do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you.